When Charlie Kirk said he didn't care about what the U.S. did to countries like Venezuela and what hand we played and why some people flee from there, he dismissed critical context. The U.S. has had a long history of interfering in Venezuela, since the days of U.S. corporations dominating the oil market there in the early part of last century. As recently as 20 years ago, though, when Venezuela started selling cheap oil to countries like Cuba, Haiti, and Nicaragua, the U.S., realizing our oil companies couldn't match Venezuela's generous prices, launched the Caribbean Energy Security Initiative. And under the guise of helping them go green, we began to pressure those countries to switch to more expensive U.S. natural gas and renewable energy. We did this despite the State Department warning that we could wind up economically destabilizing countries dependent on Venezuelan oil, which would create a serious humanitarian challenge in our near neighborhood. Before we ultimately admitted that we were seeking regime change, in 2017 we began financial sanctions against Venezuela, preventing them from accessing U.S. banking and borrowing money, making it illegal for companies worldwide to buy their oil if those companies wanted to do business with the U.S. And since oil was what Venezuela's economy was mostly based on, 90% of their government revenue dried up almost overnight. We also blocked food and medicine imports, seized Citgo, a U.S.-based oil company owned by Venezuela, and froze $24 billion in their government's assets in U.S. banks. 7 million people from Venezuela fled. 40,000 died from the medicine blockade alone. Now it was easy for us to blame the chaos on socialism, the corruption and mismanagement of both the Chavez and the current Maduro presidency, but an economy built almost entirely on oil is a real problem, which left Venezuela vulnerable when global oil prices dropped. Our sanctions then took a crisis and turned it into a catastrophe. We didn't just punish a government we didn't like, we punished everyday people, cutting off their medicine, their food, and their ability to survive. So when Charlie Kirk or anyone says that people from Venezuela should fix their own country before coming here, let's not forget the hand we played and why some people emigrated from there in the first place.